Across the world, people keep noticing a peculiar pattern, seeing the number 1111 everywhere. It flashes on clocks, appears on receipts, license plates, and surfaces at moments that feel strangely significant. At first, it seems like an odd coincidence, something easily dismissed. But the recurrence becomes undeniable, a quiet whisper from the universe, nudging for attention. Some see it as a sign, a divine signal meant to guide them, while others remain uncertain, caught between skepticism and curiosity. In certain religious teachings, signs like these are often disregarded, labeled as nothing more than illusions of the mind. Yet the presence of this number refuses to fade, leaving many wondering, why does it continue to show up? This number, 1111, is not random. It is a synchronistic occurrence, a form of divine communication designed to capture attention. But its meaning is often misunderstood. Many who encounter it begin to build an identity around it, mistaking it for a personal omen rather than recognizing it as a deeper call to action. To truly grasp its significance, one must look beyond the surface, into the intricate structure of the universe itself. Numbers hold a power far greater than we often realize. The number 1111 is more than just a sequence. It is what can be called a pyramid number, a structural pillar of reality itself. When 11 is multiplied by 11, it results in 121. When 111 is multiplied by itself, it forms 12,321. And when 1,111 is squared, it expands into 1,234,321, forming a perfect symmetrical pyramid. This is not mere chance. These patterns reflect balance, order, and a divine alignment woven into the very essence of existence. The universe speaks in numbers, encoded into the geometry and mathematics that shape our world. They are embedded within the framework of creation, signals from the divine source itself. At the most fundamental level, all things exist as energy vibrating at different frequencies. As it is written in sacred texts, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." This passage speaks of vibration, frequency, the very foundation of existence itself. Reality is not a chaotic, accidental formation. It is built with precision, and numbers like 1111 serve as keys, unlocking messages that guide us toward alignment. When 1111 appears, it is more than just an occurrence. It is a message, an indication that reality is shifting. A gateway of change begins to open, calling the observer to step forward to embrace transformation. It is a whisper from the divine, a signal that alignment with a higher frequency is underway. For those who heed its call, it becomes a guiding light, urging them toward a greater purpose. But it is not merely a sign to acknowledge, it is an invitation to act. The number 1111 marks a moment of spiritual resonance, an intersection between the material and the divine. It urges a reevaluation of priorities, a shift from the distractions of the world towards something far more profound. Many walk through life consumed by the weight of everyday existence, blind to the messages all around them. But when this number appears, it is a summons to pause, reflect, and realign with the higher consciousness waiting within. It functions as a doorway, a portal into an elevated state of awareness. It shows up in times of creation, of transformation, both within oneself and in the world at large. For those engaged in healing, guiding, or uplifting others. 1111 appears as an assurance that they are walking the right path. It confirms that their actions are guided by something beyond themselves, that they are aligned with the intricate design of the universe. But as with all things, there exists another side to this symbol. Throughout history, forces that stand in opposition to divine order have sought to manipulate these sacred codes for their own purposes. They understand the power within numbers like 1111, twisting them into tools for their own agendas. One of the most infamous examples of this manipulation is the date of September 11th, an event etched into collective memory, yet rarely examined for its numerical significance. The attack took place on September 11th, exactly 111 days before the end of the year. The Twin Towers each stood at 110 floors, and when they fell, what remained became symbolically referred to as the 111th floor, Ground Zero. Flight 11 was the first to strike that day, embedding the number into history. These are not mere coincidences. This was a deliberate distortion of divine order, an inversion of sacred codes used to create chaos and fear. But this pattern extends far beyond a single event. Those who seek control have long studied the hidden structures of reality, learning how to manipulate them for deception. They have discovered how to wield these numbers in ways that serve their own purposes, using them as markers of fear rather than enlightenment. It is a method of asserting power, purposes, using them as markers of fear rather than enlightenment. It is a method of asserting power, of demonstrating their knowledge of divine principles while corrupting their original intent. For the unaware, these manipulations go unnoticed, their deeper meaning lost beneath layers of confusion. While 1111 was designed as a message of alignment, these forces have learned how to hijack it, injecting it into moments of turmoil to divert attention away from its true purpose. They understand that the human mind responds to patterns, and they use this to their advantage, crafting a reality where meaning is obscured, where people fail to recognize the truth hidden in plain sight. But awareness is power. Recognizing these distortions is the first step toward reclaiming the truth. 1111 was never meant to inspire fear. It was meant to serve as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, a signal that the observer is stepping into alignment with something far greater. It is a direct connection, a signpost along the journey, guiding those who are willing to listen. And so, when this number appears, one must be vigilant. It is not enough to merely notice. It must be understood. The presence of 1111 is an invitation, a call to action, urging the observer to move beyond the material distractions that cloud the mind. It beckons toward a higher consciousness, one that transcends fear, deception, and illusion. But how does one ensure alignment with the true message behind it? The answer lies in living with intention. Recognizing divine signals requires more than acknowledgement. It demands a commitment to truth, love, and service. It begins with quieting the distractions of the world, making space for reflection, and seeking clarity in the messages that unfold before us. This alignment does not come from intellect alone. It comes from faith, from trusting in the unseen, in the higher intelligence that guides all things. It is about stepping into purpose without hesitation, acting not out of fear, but from a place of love. Because in the end, love is the force that binds all things, the vibration that harmonizes existence itself. And when one aligns with it fully, they step into their highest potential, becoming vessels through which divine purpose flows. The number 1111 continues to appear, weaving its presence into the fabric of everyday life. It is not merely a coincidence, nor a simple trick of the mind. It is a pattern designed to awaken something dormant within. But why does it call out? What is its deeper significance beyond the surface recognition? Throughout history, certain numbers have carried an energy, a resonance that goes beyond human understanding. They are cosmic keys, embedded within reality itself, whispering truths that many fail to grasp. 1111 is one of these numbers, an encoded signal meant to shift perception and ignite awareness. It is a reminder of the divine intelligence that governs the universe, a mathematical fingerprint left behind by something far greater than the physical world. To comprehend its importance, one must recognize the way reality is constructed. Everything around us, the trees, the stars, even human thought, is built upon structure and pattern. Sacred geometry is not just an abstract concept. It is the language of the universe. The Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, the perfect symmetry found in nature. All of these elements reveal a hidden order, a blueprint woven into existence. When 1111 appears, it signals a moment of attunement, a synchronization between the observer and this greater cosmic order. It is a nudge, a reminder that the individual is stepping into alignment with something far beyond the mundane. But alignment is not passive. It demands action. It requires a shift in awareness, a recognition of the paths one chooses to walk. Many who encounter this number find themselves at a crossroads in life. It comes during moments of uncertainty, of transformation, when decisions hold the weight of unseen consequences. It arrives as a confirmation that a greater force is guiding them, urging them to step into their highest potential. But guidance alone is not enough. One must have the courage to listen. Yet, as with all divine messages, there are those who seek to distort its meaning. Across time, those in positions of power have studied the nature of numbers, not for enlightenment, but for control. They have discovered ways to twist sacred symbols, repurposing them to serve their own desires. The knowledge that should uplift humanity is instead weaponized, hidden behind veils of deception. 1,111, like many powerful symbols, has been manipulated. Its presence in major historical events is no accident. It has been used to mark moments of fear, of tragedy, to create an association that strips it of its true significance. When people see it in these contexts, they no longer feel a sense of divine guidance. Instead, they are reminded of chaos, uncertainty, and despair. This is intentional. It is a method of inversion, a technique used by those who understand how the human mind processes symbols. They know that repetition is key, that the subconscious absorbs patterns even when the conscious mind does not. By embedding 1111 into moments of fear, they attempt to hijack its original purpose, redirecting its meaning to serve their own ends. But the truth cannot be erased. The original message of 1111 remains untouched beneath the layers of deception, waiting to be reclaimed by those willing to see beyond the illusion. It is still a symbol of awakening, a call to higher awareness. It serves as a reminder that one is not alone, that a greater intelligence is always present, guiding, observing, waiting for the moment of recognition. And yet, many resist this calling, They dismiss the signs, chalk them up to coincidence, afraid to acknowledge that there might be something more. It is easier to remain in the familiar, to ignore the gentle pull towards something greater. But the universe does not force. It simply presents opportunities. The number will continue to appear, waiting for the observer to finally pay attention. For those who choose to listen, the journey begins. 1111 is an entry point, an invitation to walk a path of deeper understanding. It signals a shift, a moment when perception expands beyond the material world. But this path is not without its challenges. Awakening to the truth comes with responsibility, with the need to navigate a world that does not always welcome higher awareness. Those who answer the call often find themselves set apart, walking a road that many refuse to travel. They begin to see the unseen, to recognize the patterns hidden beneath the surface of reality. They notice the ways in which the world is designed to distract, to keep people asleep, unaware of their true power. This is the greatest secret, the one that those in power do not want revealed. The truth that humanity is not weak, not insignificant, but deeply connected to something vast, something limitless. The veil that separates the seen from the unseen is thinner than most realize, and once it is lifted, nothing remains the same. 1111 is not a message meant for everyone. It calls only to those ready to hear, to those willing to look beyond what they have been taught. It does not demand blind faith. It asks only for awareness, for an openness to possibilities that lie beyond the physical senses. It is the first step, the initiation into a deeper level of understanding. But what comes next? What does one do when they begin to recognize these messages, when they start to feel the shift within themselves? The answer is simple. They must act. Awareness alone is not enough. It must be paired with intention, with movement towards something greater. The moment one acknowledges the presence of 1111, they step into a different reality. They begin to notice the ways in which the universe speaks, not just through numbers, but through synchronicities, through moments that feel too perfectly aligned to be mere chance. They start to see the web that connects all things, the divine architecture that holds existence together. And with this realization comes a choice. One can continue to live as before, dismissing these experiences as mere coincidence. Or one can embrace them, stepping fully into the unknown, trusting that there is a reason they have been called. Those who choose the latter find themselves changed. They begin to move differently, to think differently. They become seekers, no longer content with the surface-level reality they once accepted. But this journey is not about reaching an endpoint. It is about continuous expansion. 1111 is not a destination, but a doorway. It is a reminder that there is always more to uncover, always deeper layers of truth waiting to be revealed. It is a promise that one is on the right path, that they are not alone in their search. And so, the number continues to appear. It is there in the quiet moments, in the spaces between thoughts, waiting for recognition. It is a guide, a signal from something beyond comprehension, whispering a single truth: wake up. The number 1111 is not just an external sign, it is an internal shift. It is not something that merely appears in the world around you, but something that resonates within. The moment you begin to notice it, something inside you changes. A door that was once sealed begins to open, and for the first time, you feel the pull of something greater. But with awareness comes questions. Why now? Why does this number call to you at this particular moment in your life? The answer is not found in logic, not in the rigid structures of reasoning that society has taught you to rely upon. It is found in experience, in intuition, in the way your soul reacts when you see those digits appear once again. The universe speaks in symbols, in patterns, in echoes that ripple through time. 1111 is an invitation, a signal that you are stepping into a new phase of understanding, that you are ready to begin unraveling the layers of illusion that have kept you asleep. But with this invitation comes a test, a moment of choice. Will you step forward into the unknown, or will you dismiss what you see, convincing yourself that it is mere coincidence? Coincidence. That word is used as a shield, a way to avoid confronting the deeper truths that lie beneath the surface. But those who are willing to look beyond it begin to notice the intricate design of reality, the hidden order that has always been there but was never acknowledged. 1111 is the whisper of that hidden order. It is the thread that connects the physical to the metaphysical, the conscious to the unconscious. It is a pulse, a vibration that aligns with something greater than the material world. Those who follow its call soon realize that they are not merely observers in their lives, but active participants in something far more profound than they ever imagined. Many ancient traditions speak of such numbers, codes embedded within reality itself. The idea that numbers hold power is not a modern fabrication. It is a truth recognized by the earliest civilizations. The Pythagoreans believed that numbers were the very foundation of existence, the key to understanding the divine. Sacred texts across cultures reference the power of numerical sequences, using them to convey messages beyond words. Yet, despite this knowledge, the modern world has reduced numbers to mere calculations, stripping them of their deeper significance. But the truth remains, buried beneath centuries of distraction. And those who begin to see beyond the illusion find themselves drawn into a reality that is infinitely more complex, more mysterious, and more alive than they ever dreamed. For those who answer the call of 1111, the journey is not a simple one. Awareness is only the first step. The real work begins when one starts to integrate this understanding into their daily existence. Because to truly awaken is not just to see, but to act, to shift the way one moves through the world, to make choices with the awareness that each decision is part of a greater unfolding. And this is where resistance arises, because awakening is not comfortable. It is not easy. It requires one to confront the aspects of themselves that they have ignored, to step outside the narratives that they have accepted without question. It demands a level of courage that few are willing to embrace. The moment you begin to listen, to truly listen, the world begins to change. The patterns become clearer, the signs more frequent. You begin to see how every moment is connected, how the smallest decision ripples outward in ways you never imagined. But you also begin to see the obstacles, the forces that seek to keep you trapped in the old way of thinking. The distractions, the noise, the fear that is woven into the fabric of society. These are not accidental. They are the mechanisms of control, designed to keep people from stepping into their true power. Because make no mistake, this journey is about power, not power in the sense of dominance or control, but the power of awareness, of presence, of understanding one's place in the grand design. It is the power that comes from knowing that you are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of it. And those who hold power in the material world do not want this realization to spread. They have spent centuries ensuring that people remain disconnected from this truth, that they remain focused on the superficial, on the distractions that keep them from asking the deeper questions. But the numbers do not lie. They continue to appear, despite all efforts to suppress their meaning. They continue to call out to those who are ready, those who are willing to listen, and those who do listen find themselves on a path that is unlike any other, a path that does not promise ease, but promises truth. As this journey unfolds, the synchronicities intensify. You begin to notice more than just numbers. You start to see the way events align in ways that defy probability. You experience moments where time itself seems to stretch or contract, where reality bends in ways that cannot be explained through logic alone. These are not accidents. They are confirmations, affirmations that you are stepping into a reality that most will never perceive because they are too afraid to look. But you have looked, and now you cannot unsee. 1111 is not a random occurrence. It is a doorway, a moment of choice, and those who walk through it will never see the world the same way again. The deeper you venture into this path, the more you realize that the number 1111 is not just a sequence, it is a reflection, a mirror that reveals the unseen, the patterns woven into the fabric of your existence. The more you notice it, the more you begin to question reality itself. What if reality is not as rigid as you once believed? What if, beneath the surface of everyday life, there exists a current of intelligence, a force constantly nudging you towards something greater? The idea of fate, of destiny, is often dismissed as a relic of ancient thought. But what if it is real? Just not in the way you expected. What if destiny is not something imposed upon you, but something you co-create through your choices, through your awareness? When 1111 appears, it is not simply telling you to wake up. It is asking what you will do with that awakening. Because awareness, in itself, is not enough. Knowing that something is happening is only the first stage. The real challenge is acting upon that knowledge, making choices from a place of alignment rather than fear. And fear is the greatest obstacle. The world is built upon it. Fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of stepping beyond the boundaries that society has laid out for you. The moment you begin to break free from those boundaries, you are met with resistance, not just from the outside world, but from within yourself. The old conditioning fights back, whispering doubts, pulling you back towards comfort, towards the illusion of safety. But safety is an illusion. The only real security lies in embracing the unknown, in surrendering to the flow of the universe rather than resisting it. And this is where many falter. They see the signs, they feel the pull, but they hesitate. They hesitate because stepping into the unknown means letting go of control, and letting go of control is the most terrifying thing a person can do. But what if control was never real to begin with? What if the idea that you must control everything, your future, your path, your outcomes, is the very thing keeping you trapped? What if true power lies not in control, but in trust? Trusting that the universe is not working against you, but with you. Trusting that when you follow the signs, when you step into alignment, everything begins to fall into place in ways you could never have orchestrated on your own. This is the shift that 1111 represents. a shift from fear to trust, from control to flow. And once this shift happens, the world begins to respond in ways that defy explanation. You start to meet the right people at the right time. Opportunities arise that seem almost too perfect to be coincidence. Your intuition sharpens, guiding you towards decisions that feel effortless rather than forced. But this journey is not without its challenges, because as you awaken, you begin to see things that others do not. You begin to notice the patterns of manipulation, the systems designed to keep people asleep. You see how the world is structured to keep people distracted, disconnected from their true selves. And this realization can be overwhelming. It can make you feel isolated, as if you are seeing a reality that others are blind to. But you are not alone. There are others who have seen it too. Others who have followed the signs, who have stepped beyond the illusion. And when you begin to connect with them, the journey becomes clearer. You realize that you were never meant to walk this path alone, that the universe brings people together at the precise moment they are meant to meet. And this is where the real transformation begins, when you stop resisting and start aligning. When you move from simply noticing the signs to actively following them. When you embrace the unknown, trusting that every step is leading you towards something greater than you can currently comprehend. At this stage, life no longer feels random. You begin to see that every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt was not an obstacle, but a lesson designed to prepare you for what comes next. Because awakening is not just about seeing the truth, it is about embodying it. It is about living from that place of awareness rather than falling back into old patterns. And this is what 1111 asks of you, not just to wake up, but to step forward, to make choices from a place of wisdom rather than fear, to trust that the path unfolding before you is not just coincidence, but a carefully orchestrated design. Those who embrace this path find that life begins to move differently. Time feels less linear, more fluid. Events that once seemed disconnected now reveal themselves as part of a greater tapestry. You start to feel a deep sense of purpose, even if you cannot yet articulate what that purpose is. And the most beautiful realization of all is this: you were never lost. The signs were always there. The guidance was always present. The universe was always speaking. You just hadn't been listening. Now, you are listening. And now, the journey truly begins. There comes a moment in every journey when the weight of old beliefs begins to crumble, when the narratives that once defined you feel too small, too limiting. It is in this moment that you realize you are standing at the edge of something vast, something that cannot be contained within the boundaries of logic alone. The appearance of 1111 was never just about numbers. It was a gateway, an invitation into the unknown. At first, this realization can feel unsettling. You have been conditioned to believe that reality is fixed, that the world operates in a predictable manner. But when you begin to notice the patterns, how moments align, how thoughts manifest into reality, how the universe seems to whisper guidance through signs, you start to question everything. What if reality is not something you simply exist in, but something you co-create? What if every decision, every belief, every ounce of energy you put into the world shapes the experience you live? This is the essence of awakening, understanding that you are not merely an observer in life, but an active participant. And with this understanding comes responsibility. You can no longer blame circumstances, no longer attribute everything to randomness. You begin to see that the way you perceive reality shapes reality itself. If you focus on fear, the world will reflect fear. If you choose trust, the world begins to unfold in ways that support you. And this is where most falter, because stepping into this truth requires letting go of old identities. The mind, conditioned by years of programming, resists. It clings to certainty, to the safety of what is known, even if that safety is nothing more than an illusion. You may feel moments of doubt, questioning whether you are simply imagining these patterns. But deep within, something tells you otherwise. The synchronicities are too precise, the timing too perfect. 1111 is not just a sign, it is a frequency, a vibration that calls those who are ready to awaken. Those who see it are being asked to step beyond their limitations, to embrace a perspective that defies logic but feels truer than anything they have ever known. It is the beginning of a deeper connection to the universe, a shift in perception that reveals hidden layers of existence. As you walk this path, you begin to notice how the world responds. The more you trust, the more the universe seems to provide. Opportunities arise as if placed in front of you by unseen hands. People enter your life at the exact moment they are needed. Doors open, where before there were only walls. This is not magic, nor is it coincidence. It is alignment. Alignment is the state of being in tune with the natural flow of the universe. It is living in such a way that your thoughts, actions, and emotions are in harmony with the greater intelligence that orchestrates existence. When you are in alignment, life feels effortless. Struggles lessen, not because challenges disappear, but because you understand their purpose. You begin to see that every experience, whether joyful or painful, is guiding you, shaping you, refining you. But alignment does not come without trials. The moment you step into this new awareness, the old world will try to pull you back. People around you may not understand. They may dismiss your experiences, urge you to return to the familiar, to ignore the signs. And this is where your strength is tested. Will you listen to the external voices, or will you trust the quiet knowing within? Many choose to turn back. They see the signs, they feel the pull, but they are not ready to surrender to the unknown. But those who continue forward, those who embrace the mystery, find something beyond what words can describe. They find a sense of peace that does not depend on circumstances, and knowing that no matter what happens, they are exactly where they are meant to be. This is not about escaping reality. It is about seeing it for what it truly is. Seeing beyond the illusions of control, beyond the distractions that keep people asleep. It is about living with presence, about recognizing that every moment, no matter how small, carries meaning. And when you reach this level of awareness, something profound happens. The fear that once controlled you begins to fade. The doubts that once clouded your mind no longer hold power. You realize that you do not need all the answers, that uncertainty is not something to be feared, but embraced. Because within that uncertainty lies infinite potential. 1111 is not here to tell you what to do. It is not a command, nor is it a prophecy. It is an invitation to see beyond the veil of illusion, to remember who you truly are, to step into the unknown, not with fear, but with trust, to recognize that the universe is not separate from you. It moves through you. It speaks to you. It co-creates with you.